seeing, the player is actually hitting the same mouse button 3 times in a row. It's Way of the 100 Fists, but every time you use the skill, a different move comes out. So the first time's a dash, and then you click the same skill again, multiple strikes come out hitting enemies, and then you click the same skill again, and it's an AoE. And so you can kind of see how this is a new thing for the Diablo license, to have a combo system that feels a little bit more like a console brawler. The next skill I want to show you today is called Crippling Wave. This came from the aesthetic goal of, speed over toughness. And so we didn't want to make the monk just harder, more health or more armor, but we knew that they needed to have some defenses. So instead we focused on debuffing the enemies. So here we have an attack that slows your enemies on the first hit, applies a damage debuff on them on the second hit, and then refreshes the duration on both on the third hit, as well as doing a little extra damage. And so here you can really kind of see how our aesthetic goals are translating into gameplay. The third skill we have comes from the fantasy that came around when we went around the team and said, what kind of a skill would you love to see on a monk? What came up over and over is this notion of, internal damage, organ damage, the exploding heart, those kind of things. And people really said, I want a skill that does that. So to balance out the third hit, we make the first and second hit are actually fairly average. It's 2 hits. In some ways it could be seen as the cost of the skill. And then when you get to the third hit, you're hitting the mouse button for the third time, you place a dot bleed on the target. And if the target dies while that bleed is on them, they explode, dealing damage proportional to their maximum health to everybody near them. It's pretty cool. But now let's talk about the combo system. To combine these together, we decided that players would be able to use skills from any of the 3 stages and mix and match them. So that's how we can hopefully have room for both beginners to the game and veterans, where a beginner might just want to spam one skill over and over, and that's fine. Veterans can combine moves. Maybe they open up with the dash component of Way of 100 Fists, and then they click Crippling Wave. Well, you're already on stage 2, so you're going to get the attack debuff. And then on stage 3, you move through Exploding Palm, you're going to place the dot on them.
So we've got a pretty good background now. Comes from what he's all about, how he's going to play, and we've looked at a few of his skills. But to really finish him off, we're gonna need some special effects. We're gonna developing this monk's style kit. So the first thing is we wanted to get that feeling of martial arts action onto the screen. And so that means we, as effects artists, need to work really closely with the animators. They're the people that make things move. They're the guys that are really in tune with this stuff. So they're supplying us with a lot of animated actions that we take and then just sort of punch up. So the next ingredient in our kit is going to be, we wanted to get that holy vibe across. And the best way we felt that we could get that going would be to concentrate on the color palette for all of his skills, aiming solidly for things that are really golden and silvery, and that would evoke a holy vibe. So the last thing is we really wanted to get across this idea that monks are kind of smart. They're learned. They spent a lot of time in monasteries before they're sort of gonna walk the earth, and the best way we could think to kind of get that vibe across was to give them some runes and sprinkle that throughout what they do. We figured